Dear Chosen One, I know there has always been a feeling within you that the world around you seemed strange, as if there were an invisible barrier between you and other people. You tried to fit in, tried to follow what others did, but something inside you screamed that this was not your path. While everyone seemed to easily accept the rules imposed by society, you questioned them. While others sought acceptance, you sought truth. But this nature of yours was not well received. The sideways glances from people, the unexplained distance, the feeling of being unwelcome in certain places. All of this made you think that maybe the problem was you. But what if I told you that this difference was not a flaw, but a mark of greatness? That your inability to fit in was never a mistake, but rather a sign that you were born for something far greater than the world could comprehend? If you have already realized that your difference is your greatest strength, show the world that you are ready to live according to your truth. In the comments, write the number 777 to declare your acceptance that you are a chosen one, destined for something greater, and no longer bound by the expectations of others. Take this moment and leave your like on the video. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any revealing content. The truth is that the chosen ones were never made to fit within the expectations of others. Most people go with the flow without questioning, conform to what is taught, and cling to labels that mean nothing. But you could never pretend. Your gaze captures nuances that others ignore. Your presence carries a weight that not everyone can handle. Have you noticed how some people seem uncomfortable around you? How your mere presence can trigger unexpected reactions? It's not because you're doing something wrong, but because you provoke something in them that they don't even understand. And that's why many walk away. That's why some doors never opened for you. Because you were never ordinary. You were never a piece that fit perfectly into this game. Now, the time has come for you to see this reality clearly. You spent years wondering why things seemed harder for you, why friendships fell apart for no reason, why opportunities always seemed to go to others. But what if, in fact, all of this was part of a greater plan? What if every rejection was a protection? What if, deep down, life was training you for something much greater? You were not rejected. You were set apart. You never fit in because you were made to lead, not to follow. Today, you will understand why this difference is the ultimate proof of your power. Since childhood, you felt you were different. While others seemed to find joy in following what was expected, you always sought to understand the why behind things. It wasn't just a passing curiosity, but an instinct that made you question what others accepted without thinking. You noticed contradictions that no one else saw, felt discomfort in environments where everyone else seemed at ease, and observed behavioral patterns that went unnoticed by most. But instead of being celebrated for your sharp perception, you were seen as strange, odd, someone who overcomplicated things. The world does not reward those who think differently, because society was built to keep people within a predictable system. And those who don't fit into this mold quickly become targets. Over time, you tried to adjust. You tried to tone down your intensity to be accepted, tried to speak less about what you saw and felt to avoid judgment. Perhaps you even forced yourself to follow paths that made no sense to you, just to avoid loneliness. But something inside you never allowed this act to last long, because you were never someone who could pretend. The truth was always evident in your gaze, in your posture, in your way of being. And little by little, you began to realize that no matter how hard you tried, you could never be like others. There would always be that uncomfortable feeling that you were forcing something that wasn't real. This frustration was not your failure, but a sign that your essence cannot be molded to fit where it doesn't belong. What no one told you is that people like you are rare. And when something is rare, not everyone can understand it. You carry a presence that unsettles because it awakens something in people. Some will feel intimidated because they perceive in you a strength they never developed. Others will reject you because they cannot manipulate someone who thinks for themselves. And some will simply walk away because they don't know how to handle your intensity. But none of this means you need to change. On the contrary, it means you are on the right path. Those who are truly strong do not dilute themselves to fit into spaces. Those who have value do not dim their light to be accepted. Many spend their lives trying to fit in. But you always knew that would never work for you. The more you tried to be like others, the more you felt something inside you was dying. It wasn't just discomfort, it was a deep internal conflict, as if you were betraying your own essence by trying to live in a way that made no sense. You realized that the price of acceptance was too high. To belong, you would have to annihilate yourself. You would have to become a shadow of who you truly are. But every time you tried, life showed you, in painful ways, that this was not your path. And that's why you always felt alone. Because those who do not follow the common path end up walking roads few know. At first, this seems like a burden. It seems unfair. But over time, you realize that this loneliness was preparation. It taught you to trust yourself when no one else seemed to believe in you. It forced you to look within, to grow stronger, to build something no one can take from you. You were not isolated by chance. You were removed from everything that could prevent you from becoming what you were destined to be. When you stop seeking validation, something powerful happens. You begin to attract the right people, the right opportunities, the right paths. Because the world may not be ready for you, but there are those who have been waiting for someone exactly like you to appear. People who also felt lost, out of place, different. People who need your example to realize that there is nothing wrong with being who they are. You are not alone. You never were. But to find your tribe, you must first stop hiding. You must allow yourself to shine without fear. The truth is that the world never welcomes those who see beyond. People like the comfort of predictability, of following already trodden paths without needing to question. But you could never do that. While everyone seemed content accepting what was imposed on them, you wanted answers. You wanted to understand the why behind things. You wanted something deeper, more authentic. This made you feel out of place, as if you were always in the wrong place. But this discomfort was not a mistake. It was a sign that your mind was never bound to what is superficial. From an early age, you noticed that your presence triggered unexpected reactions. Some people were drawn to you, fascinated by your way of being, but others seemed uneasy, as if your mere existence challenged them in some way. Perhaps you didn't understand this at first, but now it makes sense. Your authenticity exposes the insecurities of those who lack the courage to be true. Your presence reveals who is pretending, who is merely going with the flow without purpose. And when someone forces others to face truths they avoid, it naturally generates resistance. But what if I told you this was never a problem? That this resistance, this difficulty, this isolation, all of it was a selection process? You were set apart to grow without wrong influences, to develop an independent perspective, to build inner strength without relying on the approval of others. How many around you lost themselves trying to fit in? How many gave up their essence just to be accepted? You tried to follow this path, but you never could, because your nature was always stronger than any attempt at forced adaptation. What life has been doing to you is not punishment. It is preparation. Every loss, every distance, every moment you felt alone was a test to see if you would have the courage to remain true to yourself. And you did. You survived all of this without becoming someone you are not. Now, look back and realize everything that made you suffer made you stronger. Every rejection taught you to trust yourself more. Every closed door forced you to build your own paths. You are not a victim of fate. You are living proof that authenticity always finds a way to prevail. Society has always tried to convince you that the right path was the one everyone followed. But think about it. Who really made history? Was it those who conformed, or those who dared to challenge what already existed? You were never made to follow the common path. You were born to be a reference, to open new paths, to prove that there is nothing wrong with being different. Everything that made you question your own existence, everything that made you doubt your worth, was actually the greatest proof that you have something unique to offer. Society has always promoted the idea that following the path of the majority guarantees success and stability. But just look at those who truly made an impact on the world to see that this was never true. It was those who challenged norms, who dared to question what already existed, who refused to follow the common path that left their mark. From the beginning, your life indicated that you were not part of this predictable flow and that you were destined for something greater. All the difficulties that made you doubt yourself, all the situations that seemed to push you to the margins were, in fact, signs that you always had a different role. It no longer makes sense to waste energy trying to be accepted by those who could never understand you, or to worry about spaces that were not built to hold your essence. You spent too much time trying to adjust to places that never offered what you truly needed. And now, there is no longer any reason to continue fighting for approval, where there was never room for authenticity. The world is saturated with people who sacrifice their identity just to fit into empty standards. But that was never your destiny. The time has come to embrace what has always been clear. You do not need to mold yourself to fit, but rather to build your own structure. Looking back at everything you've overcome is the greatest proof that your strength has always been greater than any barrier imposed along the way. You faced rejections, judgments, periods of uncertainty, and moments when you believed you would never find your place, yet you still stood tall. This was no accident. Everything that seemed to weaken you actually made you stronger. Now, there is no more reason to question why you are different, because it is clearer than ever that this difference has always been your greatest advantage. What you once tried to hide out of fear of not being accepted is exactly what makes you unshakable. Your difference has always been a mark of authenticity, but for a long time, it seemed like a heavy burden to carry. From an early age, you realized that you saw life differently, and this perception placed you on a lonely path where few truly understood you. The feeling of being out of place did not arise because you were insufficient, but because your essence did not fit into small molds. While many went with the flow without questioning, you always had a critical eye on things, trying to understand the truth behind appearances, and this search distanced you from those who prefer to live in illusion. The difficulty of finding a space where you truly belonged led you to try, at some point, to mold yourself to be accepted, but nothing felt natural. The effort of trying to fit in drained your energy and created a sense of suffocation, as if you were trapped in something that made no sense. You realized that every time you tried to fit into groups or environments that did not reflect your essence, something inside you was lost. The struggle to be accepted seemed endless, and each failed attempt only reinforced that this would never be the right path for you. What seemed like a phase of loss and rejection was actually a filtering process that removed what was not meant to remain in your life. Many of the people who walked away were not mature enough to accompany your growth, and many of the opportunities that never materialized would have been mere distractions on your path. What once caused you pain was, in fact, a form of protection. Life did not leave you alone by chance, but because it wanted to free you from everything that could hinder your evolution. When you realize this, the way you see your past changes completely. The strength you carry today came from all the difficulties you overcame, and the impact this had on your way of seeing life is what sets you apart from so many others. Your journey was never about fitting in, but about finding your own path. What makes you powerful is not following an established standard, but the courage to create your own journey without fear of being different. Many spend their entire lives trying to adapt to what is expected, but you have finally understood that being different is not a burden, but a privilege that few have the courage to embrace. Now that you understand the greatness of your journey, there is no longer a need to seek recognition in places that were never meant to welcome you. What once seemed like a problem has now become a strength, and what was once a source of questioning has now become the answer you were seeking. Your presence has always been greater than the space they tried to impose on you, and your strength has always been too vast to be contained within small standards. You don't need to change to be accepted, because you are already complete as a Bitoy. You are, and the world, sooner or later, will have to recognize that. Throughout your journey, you learned that difference is not a burden, but a force that drives the pursuit of an authentic and meaningful life. Amid the pressures of a world that values conformity, every experience taught you that uniqueness is the true engine of personal transformation. The path you chose, though filled with challenges and moments of doubt, revealed that the difficulty of fitting in does not represent failure, but rather a clear sign that your vision and values are beyond the ordinary. This journey of self-discovery and resilience built a solid foundation for you to transform adversities into opportunities and, with determination, carve out a future worthy of your innate potential. From the very beginning, you faced the reality that the comfort of the masses was not meant for those who carry within them the desire to question and innovate. In environments where the safety of routine prevailed, your questioning posture and critical eye often stirred discomfort in those accustomed to monotony. Instead of surrendering to expectations, you chose to forge your own path, filled with intense discoveries and lessons, where every obstacle overcome reaffirmed that authenticity is the foundation for a fulfilling existence. Thus, even in the Q-Tarifidi face of rejections and distancing, you forged a resilient identity, capable of turning criticism into fuel for personal growth and the conquest of previously unimaginable horizons. Living in a world that insists on standardizing behaviors and opinions made you understand, from an early age, that the challenges of being different are, in fact, invitations to expand your limits. Instead of seeking easy and fleeting acceptance, you immersed yourself in the process of self-discovery, identifying in every setback an opportunity for learning and inner strengthening. This stance not only made you more aware of your own essence, but also inspired others to question established norms and value originality. By fully embracing your identity, you transformed the apparent disadvantage of isolation into a powerful tool for building a life of purpose and authenticity, where every step is marked by the conviction of being true to yourself. The journey of self-knowledge you traveled is filled with moments where the refusal to conform proved decisive in building an unshakable character. Amid criticism and constant confrontation with pre-established standards, You learned that your courage to maintain your individuality is the true essence of leadership and personal progress. Every challenge overcome, every disapproving look turned into momentum to move forward, reinforced the idea that difference, in itself, is a rare and valuable gift. This deep understanding allows you to stand firm and serene, knowing that the paths taken by those who dare to be authentic are the ones that truly leave lasting marks on history. Looking back, you realize that all the experiences of rejection and misunderstanding served as fundamental lessons for the consolidation of a robust and independent inner self. Every obstacle faced strengthened the conviction that the pursuit of external approval is a fleeting illusion compared to the immeasurable value of being true to your essence. This liberating realization propelled you to embrace, without reservation, the aspects that make you unique, transforming what many considered difficulties into true competitive advantages. Thus, with each new challenge, you reaffirm that authenticity is the master key to opening doors to a future filled with achievements, where individuality translates into power and limitless possibilities. In a scenario where uniformity is exalted, your decision to remain true to who you truly are has always stood out as an act of courage and integrity. The refusal to submit to imposed standards not only built a personality marked by independent thinking, but also demonstrated that authenticity is a path filled with lasting rewards. Every situation of confrontation with the conventional served to highlight that originality, no matter how challenging, carries within it the ability to transform realities and inspire profound change. By walking this unique path, you have established yourself as an example that being different is, in fact, the first step to conquering a unique and irreplaceable space in the world. Today, recognizing the intrinsic value of every experience lived, you allow yourself to look to the future with the certainty that uniqueness is the foundation of all great transformations. Instead of succumbing to the pressures of fitting into prefabricated molds, you embrace the freedom to create your own path, where every challenge is seen as an opportunity to reinvent your existence. This stance, in addition to inspiring those still searching for their place, reaffirms that true personal evolution is rooted in the courage to be genuine. Thus, the journey you chose is not just a path of overcoming, but also an eloquent testimony of the transformative power that lies in living according to your own truth. In moments when you found yourself further away from others, the greatest growth happened. The isolation that seemed painful revealed itself as essential. It was in this space of solitude that you found yourself, where your ideas and feelings could mature without the constant interference of external expectations. Every rejection, instead of weakening you, strengthened your independence and your worldview. You realized that, over time, you were being shaped for a greater purpose, a purpose that could not be achieved if you remained tied to the world's standards. This distancing was, in fact, a protection to preserve your authenticity. In moments of solitude, when the gazes turned to others and you found yourself on the margins, the greatest lesson was that true companionship comes from within. It was, in the silence, in the absence of distractions, that you found the strength to redefine yourself and move forward. Solitude taught you to be self-sufficient and to trust your own judgment, without needing the approval of others. When the world seemed to close in around you, it was in this space of introspection that you were able to rebuild yourself and understand that your true journey was far more meaningful than any external validation. Upon discovering this, you freed yourself from an invisible weight and now live with greater lightness. The difficulties you faced were not an obstacle, but a powerful tool for the formation of an unbreakable character. Every experience of rejection or misunderstanding was an opportunity to grow, to test your resilience, and to reinforce your confidence in your own vision. The path of the chosen ones was never easy, and you, as one, knew this. But true strength is not revealed in ease, but in persistence in the face of adversity. Every step taken, every closed door, every challenge overcome not only increased your confidence, but also strengthened your belief that living authentically and true to yourself is the only path worth following. With every obstacle, you became stronger. Looking to the future now with a clearer vision of your purpose, you feel a renewed confidence in your journey. You know that the next steps you take will be filled with challenges, but also with opportunities that arise as a direct result of your courage to be who you are. The path ahead is not one of perfection, but of continuous growth and self-improvement. Every new challenge is just another opportunity to expand your vision, test your limits, and live according to your truth, without worrying about what others think or expect. This is the power of being true to yourself. The freedom to create your own destiny. The strength you found along your journey comes from something that cannot be taught or bought, but something that is cultivated from within. By letting go of external expectations and focusing on what truly matters to you, you allow yourself to grow in ways you never imagined possible. Every challenge, every obstacle, every moment of doubt was a chance to show yourself what you are capable of. Now, looking at where you've arrived, you know that your journey of self-discovery is just the beginning. What you've achieved so far is only a reflection of the power that resides within you, ready to expand and manifest in the world. The path you've walked is not easy, and many will not understand your journey. But what matters now is that you finally understood that the greatest obstacle was always the pursuit of approval from people who have no idea of your real value. By freeing yourself from this relentless pursuit, you allowed yourself to live fully, authentically, and powerfully. There is no more room for doubt or the desire to please. Your authenticity now guides you. Every step you've taken so far has been a victory, and every step you take from now on will be driven by renewed confidence and an unshakable strength that comes from within. You no longer need to prove anything to anyone because the greatest proof has already been given. You chose to be true to yourself. Now you know that true strength never came from trying to fit in, but from embracing your authenticity with all its imperfections and wonders. The journey you've traveled was not about seeking approval, but about finding your true self and living according to that power. You are not an exception. You are a revolution in yourself. And as you walk in your truth, you not only transform your own life, but also ignite the fire of inspiration in everyone around you. What you've achieved so far is just the beginning. You are in control, and the future awaits with infinite possibilities for those who have the courage to be who they are. Don't stop now. Continue your journey. The world needs your light. If you were touched by this message, don't forget to leave your like and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any transformative content like this. Share this video with someone who needs to hear these words, and comment below what this message meant to you. Your story can inspire others to find their truth too. Thank you to everyone who has supported the channel. If you wish to contribute in an even more meaningful way to our growth, consider supporting the creation of more transformative content through the Buy Me a Coffee link pinned in the first comment. Your support is essential for us to continue this journey together. And don't stop here. Click on the recommended video on the screen or explore the playlist of The Secrets of the Chosen Ones, where we delve even deeper into how you can reach your maximum potential. You are the master of your destiny, and the world is yours to conquer. walk with confidence, and continue to shine. Until next time, and may God bless you.